Hi YouTubers and wet shavers everywhere, it's Mark with GeorgeTune.com. I'm back in another video. Hey, I wanted to show you a couple of different ways, a couple of different methods that I've incorporated in my wet shaving routine on how to build a lather. I know that I've seen some questions on my channel in the comment section from some individuals. How do you build a lather? And I have been getting some really great results in building a lather, whether it's from a cream or a hard soap or even a shaving stick. But in this video, I want to show you how I build a lather from a shaving cream and also from a shaving soap. Now, a couple of things that I use when I build a lather using a shaving cream. These I think are pretty key. The first one is I like to use a natural hair brush, a badger brush or a boar brush. This happens to be the Vikings Blade Dark Stallion badger brush. It's natural animal hair. The Simode boar brushes are also very good. For some reason, I've noticed that natural hair shaving brushes work better with shaving creams than they do with shaving soaps. Your mileage may vary, but that's what I've noticed. So whenever I'm whipping up lather from a shaving cream, I always use a natural hair brush. So that's the first thing. The next thing that I do is I use a shaving bowl like the Vikings Blade Grand Chairman shaving bowl that has a little bit of a rough interior, so to speak. This one's bead blasted, so it's like having millions and millions of little bumps in there. Creates a little bit of friction that aids in generating a lather. That's very good to have a little rougher surface. For instance, this marble shaving bowl from Supply also has some ridges cut into it. That helps to generate a little more friction and generate lather. This artisan shaving bowl that I got from my nephew, it has some swirls in the bottom here. That aids in generating a little bit of friction. This shaving bowl here that I bought on eBay, it has these little dimples on the inside. And that also aids in having a little bit of friction in generating lather. That's not to say that a smooth mug or bowl won't generate good lather. It will. It's just that if it has a little bit of friction, you get lather faster, quicker. And I think you get a better, slightly better result. Smooth bowls and mugs work just fine. But if you can find something with a little bit of a rougher interior, just gives you a little bit of friction, all the better. Just make sure that the interior of that bowl and mug is not overly rough so it doesn't end up shredding up or tearing up your shaving brush. Okay, I've got a rather low-tech setup here, so I'm just going to pan down and show you my setup here. All right, here's my sink, here's my shaving bowl. I'm going to be using my Vikings Blade Grand Chairman shaving bowl, and I'm going to be whipping up a lather, building a lather from the Art of Shaving Sandalwood Shaving Cream. So the first thing I like to do is I like to take my bowl, and I like to set my faucet to the hottest setting, and I like to fill that up with hot water and just set it aside like that. Next thing I like to do is I like to set it to warm water because I'm going to shave with warm water, not hot water, warm water. And I like to just fill my sink up a little bit and take my brush and just set it in the sink like that. And just cover it with water. And let that soak for a while. Okay, now, what do I do next? The thing I do next is I take a shower. And I let the brush soak and I let that bowl kind of get warm. The heat will dissipate a little bit, but what that does is that gives me enough heat from the water that it gives me a warmer lather. But it also allows me to keep a few drops of water in there after I dump it out. So, let's say that I've gone ahead and finished my shower. I'm back. I've got my bowl here. I dump the water off into the sink, and there's always a few little drops of water left in there. This is when I grab my shaving cream right here, and then I get a good dollop. Let's say about that much right there. See that? That's pretty good. And I just take it and just coat it in the bowl like that. Set that down. Now I remove my brush and I give it a gentle wring and then maybe a shake or two. I don't want to get too much water out of there, but I do want to get the excess out. I always like to take a little bit of remnant from my finger that's left on the finger and just put it in the brush. And now we're going to go ahead and build a lather. Now, the key to building a lather with the shaving cream is you don't want to start with an overly wet brush. You want to have a few drops of water in the bowl, and then as you go, you want to add water to build that lather. So we're going to go ahead and start building it. Okay, you can see it's dry, so I'm going to take this brush and dip the ends of it into the sink where I have that water and add water. And as I'm building a lather and adding water, it should explode. And there it goes. I don't know if you can see that. There it goes. It's really starting to kick in. Okay, I need just a little more water to really get this going. And you can see in just mere seconds, I have a good amount of lather on this brush ready to go. Okay, I'm going to dip in just once more. Just a little bit, right on the tips. That's all you need. Oh, that did it. So I've added water 3 times. And we're doing this in real time here. You can kind of time it to see how long it takes. But it is rather quick. That's part of the great fun of doing a traditional wet shave, is building the lather and getting it ready. Okay, so there it is. I got these nice peaks right there. Really, really, really very, very nice. Now, the next step is to wet the face and to actually get a little bit of water on the face, or a pre-shave water and pre-shave oil, whatever is your preference. And then that water also adds to putting on a lather on your face. So let me just put some water on my face here. Okay, a little bit of water. Okay, here's my shaving cream. Now with creams and a natural brush, since it's already on, it's already whipped up into a lather, all you have to do is paint it on. And you can see how much I have here. And it's going on nice and rich and thick. Just paint it on, and you can see how nice and thick it is. And I've got plenty in the bowl here to go back to. Just scraping it off with a brush takes it out of the bristles a little bit, so you can get some right on the brush like that, and just place it on your face and just paint it on. And that's it. And look, I've got a beautiful, thick, rich coating of shaving lather ready to go for my shave. I'm all set. And it takes seconds. The trick is, natural hair brush, I found, works best. You can use a synthetic brush if you want to, but I found natural hair brush works best. Also, a shaving bowl with a little bit of friction. Smooth is okay, but if you have something that gives you a little bit of friction, that's good too. That's a little bit better. And just add water as you go. That's all you have to do. Add water as you go. And the more you do it, the better you'll get. Practice makes perfect. And you'll learn which shaving creams need a little more cream or a little less cream, a little more water or a little less water. It really is trial and error and experience, but if you take these tips into account, it should help you make a good lather. Okay, I'm going to get cleaned up. I'll come back and I'll show you how to build a lather with a hard shaving soap. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I build a lather using a hard soap. And by hard soap, I'm talking about something that's very, very hard to accrope. Not quite a shaving cream, but it's still a hard soap, kind of a little softer than a hard soap. So this works with just about any hard soap at all. This works with Poudre de Provence, which is very, very hard. It works with, this is Italian Barber Razor Rock What the Puck shaving soap. That's a very hard soap in the tub there. It'll work with Mitchell's Wool Fat. Mitchell's Wool Fat here. That is a little softer than the first two, but it's still a hard soap. It'll work with Cella. Cella is more along the lines of a crope, but still, I prefer to do it as a hard soap, even though it's more on the crope side. Parasso is also more of a crope. I'm getting kind of low on that, but a little harder than Cella. Not quite as hard as Poudre de Provence, but still, this method works. And of course, one of my favorites, Tabac, very hard soap, works with Tabac. Oh, Arco, one of my new favorites. Arco comes in a little tub like this, and it'll work with that puck of soap as well. It'll also work with the glycerin soaps, the Colonel Conk glycerin soaps that you just drop the puck into a shaving mug. This method works that way too. There is one ingredient that I maintain throughout, and you've seen this in other videos, and that is I use a synthetic shaving brush. This is my Amax synthetic brush. You can even use Razor Rock synthetic brush, this chrome brush, doesn't matter. Synthetic brushes, I find, work better with hard soaps in generating a lather. What you're doing is you're loading the brush and then you're applying it to your face and doing a face lather. That's why I think these work so well, because they have a lot of backbone, which allows them to load better, allows them to load that soap better. I don't know the reason why, it's just a personal observation. So again, this is how I do it. I turn my faucet on to very, very hot water, and we're going to use Tabac for this. And what I do is, you know where my sink is, all I'm going to do is put a little bit of hot water on top of Tabac. There's a little bit of water there. I don't know if you can see that. Just a little bit of hot water there. That helps to soften it up. And I'm going to set my faucet to warm again, because I'm shaving with warm water. I'm going to stop up the sink, take my brush, I'm going to drop it in there and let that soak. And then, after it gets covered with some water here, I'll shut it off. Okay, then I go take a shower. And then I just let everything, I let the brush soak, I let that soap soften up a little bit. After I come out of the shower, then I start the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait the equivalent of what it would be for a shower. So I'll be right back, because I want everything to be just as it were had I taken a nice hot shower before my shave. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've had my shower. I'm ready to go. The first thing I like to do is I like to take this bowl of soap here with the hot water on top, and I pour it off into the sink. Then I like to take some of that water and also some water from the faucet and wet my face. I'm going to do that now. Or I can also apply a pre-shave oil or some other kind of pre-shave product that you might have, Parasso, something like that. Next, I like to do is I just like to take the brush out of the sink, give it a nice ring, maybe a shake or two, It's got plenty of water in there. Well, not plenty of water, but enough water. There's enough water, a few drops on top of here to where it's softened up. Now all I have to do is start loading the brush. And you'll kind of guesstimate how much water you should take out of your brush before you start swirling it and loading it up. And this should only be a 10 to 20 second load. That's all you need, depending on the soap that you're using. But Tabak is usually 10 to 20 seconds, and that's what it's been right there. So now we're ready to go. My face is wet. I have enough of a brush load here, and it's starting to turn into a little bit of cream right now. I don't know if you can see this here. A little bit of cream here, right there in the bowl and on the brush. So I know, when I see that, I know it's ready to go. Then all I do is a face lather from here. The water that I put on my face will also add to help build a lather. So all I do is swirl on my face and do a face lather. And look how quickly I have lather. Look how quickly. Now I can paint it on if I want. Very, very easy to do. Look how fast that was in seconds. It's one of the reasons why I like using hard soaps and synthetic brushes, because it builds a lather so quickly. And look, I have so much on the brush, and I've got this nice, thick, rich, creamy lather on my face. And I'm ready for my shave. A lot of protection, a lot of slickness. And that's all there is to it. The nice thing about synthetic brushes is I can set this aside, and when I rinse my face, the additional water grabs that soap off of the brush, and I get a second coating of lather just like the first. That's why I like synthetic brushes. Synthetic brushes do a great job in building a lather from hard soaps. Not to say that a Badger brush or a Burr brush won't work the same. Your mileage may vary. Also realize that whether your water is hard or soft is also going to be another condition that comes into play as to how quickly you build a lather. So if your water is a little harder, you might want to try a synthetic brush. You might want to try a bowl with a little bit of friction on the inside. Those kinds of things that might help generate a lather for you a little more efficiently. But you can see here, and I've got lather here, and just talking to you, if I needed to, I could dip the tips in a little bit, get a little bit of water on the brush, and then smooth it out a little more, put a little more moisture from the water. And you can see how it just smoothed out a little bit. But that's it. That's how I build a lather with shaving cream and shaving soap. Very, very easy. Practice makes perfect. You're going to have to try a few things, combination of things, a little more cream, a little more water, synthetic brush, Badger brush, Boar brush, whether your water is hard or soft, those combination things will come into play. But for the most part, what I've described here to you, give it a try. I think it should work for you. And I think that if you get a good quality shaving soap, like Tabak or Cella or Mitchell's Wool Fat or Arco or Pré de Provence, Proraso, any of those will make a great lather for you. Any great shaving cream will do the same, such as The Art of Shaving, Taylor of Old Bond Street, etc. So give it a try, and I hope you found that to be useful. I sure did enjoy sharing it with you. Hey, thanks very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Please share, please subscribe, hit that bell so it'll give you a yell the next time I upload a video. Please check out my blog, georgetoon.com/blog, for my comic strip George, other cartoons, other videos like this, and I'll see you again real soon.